If you are constantly paying attention to what other people think, what they say, what they expect, what they criticize, and what they believe you should become, then slowly, without even noticing it, you begin to disappear from your own life. You wake up, but your mind is already outside of you. You think about who ignored your message, who looked at your story, who did not support you, who misunderstood you, who judged you, who is ahead of you, who seems happier than you, who has more money, more confidence, more attention, more love, more success. And because your attention is scattered everywhere, your power is scattered everywhere too. This is how many people lose themselves, not in one dramatic moment, not through one single failure, but through 1,000 tiny acts of self-abandonment. Every time you choose their opinion over your own truth, every time you explain yourself to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you, every time you compare your path to someone who is not carrying your wounds, your history, your dreams, or your purpose. Carl Jung understood something that most people avoid their entire lives. The greatest battle is not between you and the world. The greatest battle is between the person you pretend to be and the person you truly are. And this is why learning to ignore everyone and focus on yourself is not arrogance. It is not selfishness. It is not coldness. It is psychological survival. Because if you never turn inward, the world will tell you who you are. People will project their fears onto you. Society will sell you a version of success you never truly wanted. Your family may give you a role you never chose. Your friends may keep you attached to an older version of yourself because your growth makes them uncomfortable. And if you are not careful, you will spend your whole life performing a character that was built from other people's expectations. Jung believed that the unconscious parts of us, the hidden parts, the rejected parts, the wounded parts, do not disappear simply because we ignore them. They wait. They influence our choices. They shape our relationships. They decide what we tolerate, what we chase, what we fear, and what we sabotage. So when you are obsessed with other people, when you are constantly trying to be liked, accepted, praised, or understood, often you are not truly connected with others. You are running away from yourself. You are trying to escape the silence where your real thoughts live. You are trying to avoid the mirror. But the truth is this. The more you avoid yourself, the more dependent you become on the world. You need people to validate you because you have not validated yourself. You need people to respect you because you have not built self-respect. You need people to choose you because you have not chosen yourself. And this is a dangerous way to live because people change. Attention fades. Approval is unstable. The same people who praise you today may criticize you tomorrow. The same people who need you today may ignore you when you need them. The same crowd that celebrates you when you are useful may disappear when you become inconvenient. If your identity depends on them, your peace will always belong to them. This is why you must learn to pull your energy back, not with anger, not with bitterness, not because you hate people, but because you are finally beginning to understand that your attention is sacred. Where your attention goes, your life goes. If your attention is always on drama, your life becomes drama. If your attention is always on people who do not respect you, your self-worth begins to shrink. If your attention is always on comparison, your own path begins to feel meaningless. If your attention is always on being accepted, you become a prisoner of the crowd. But when your attention returns to yourself, something powerful begins to happen. You start asking different questions. Not, do they like me? But, do I respect myself when I'm around them? Not, why did they leave? But, why was I so afraid to be alone? Not, how can I prove my worth? But, why did I ever believe my worth needed proof? This is the beginning of real transformation. Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming who you truly are. Not who your parents wanted you to be, not who society rewards, not who your friends approve of, not who your wounds force you to become, but the person hidden beneath all the masks. And this journey always requires one thing most people fear: separation. You cannot become yourself while constantly begging the world for permission. At some point, You must step away from the noise. You must stop asking everyone what they think. You must stop giving your energy to every opinion, every criticism, every misunderstanding, every person who has never taken the time to understand their own life, but somehow feels qualified to judge yours. You have to become quiet enough to hear yourself again. This does not mean you reject everyone. It means you stop allowing everyone to shape you. There's a difference. A weak person needs constant approval. A growing person listens, observes, learns, but does not surrender their soul to public opinion. Because most people are not responding to who you truly are. They are responding to what you awaken inside them. Your discipline may remind them of their laziness. Your confidence may expose their insecurity. Your silence may disturb their need for control. Your growth may threaten the version of you they felt comfortable with. So when you begin focusing on yourself, do not expect everyone to clap. Some people will call you selfish because you no longer overextend yourself. Some will call you distant because you stop being available for every emotional emergency. Some will say you changed, as if staying the same for their comfort was your purpose in life. Let them misunderstand you. That is one of the hardest but most freeing lessons you will ever learn. Let them misunderstand you. You do not need to correct every story people tell about you. You do not need to defend your silence. You do not need to explain your healing. You do not need to prove that your boundaries are reasonable to people who benefited from you having none. Your life becomes lighter when you stop attending every argument you are invited to. Jung taught that whatever we refuse to face within ourselves often appears in our outer life as fate. In simple words, if you do not understand your wounds, you will keep meeting them in different people. If you never heal your fear of abandonment, you may keep chasing people who are emotionally unavailable. If you never face your need for approval, you may keep performing for people who do not even value you. If you never confront your shadow, you may keep blaming the world for patterns that begin inside you. This is why focusing on yourself is not just about working harder, making money, going to the gym, or becoming more successful. Those things matter, but they are not the whole journey. Focusing on yourself means studying yourself with honesty. Why do certain people trigger you so deeply? Why do you feel guilty when you say no? Why do you confuse being needed with being loved? Why do you tolerate disrespect and then call it loyalty? Why do you abandon your own needs just to keep someone else comfortable? These questions are not comfortable, but they are the doorway to power. Because once you understand yourself, you become harder to manipulate. A person who knows their wounds cannot be controlled by them as easily. A person who knows their values cannot be bought by empty attention. A person who knows their direction cannot be distracted by every opinion. A person who knows their worth does not beg for a seat at a table where respect is optional. This is what it means to become centered. The world may still be loud, but it no longer owns your nervous system. People may still talk, but their words no longer decide your identity. Rejection may still hurt, but it no longer convinces you that you are worthless. Loneliness may still visit, but it no longer terrifies you into choosing the wrong company. And this is where real strength begins. Not in pretending you do not care about anything. Not in becoming cold. Not in building a fake personality that looks strong, but is secretly wounded. Real strength is calm. It is grounded. It is quiet. It does not need to be announced. Real strength is being able to sit alone without running from yourself. It is being able to lose people without losing your center. It is being able to be misunderstood without betraying your truth. It is being able to move forward even when nobody is watching, clapping, or encouraging you. This is why solitude is so important. Most people fear solitude because they think being alone means being unwanted. But solitude, when chosen consciously, is not punishment. It is a laboratory. It is where you discover what is truly yours and what was programmed into you. In solitude, you hear the thoughts that were buried under noise. You notice the habits that were hidden by distraction. You see the people you were using to avoid your own emptiness. You recognize the dreams you abandoned because someone laughed at them. You begin to separate your real desires from borrowed expectations. And slowly, you return to yourself. At first, this can feel painful. When you stop distracting yourself with other people, your inner world becomes louder. Old regrets rise. Old memories appear. The parts of you that you pushed away begin knocking at the door. But this is not a sign that you are broken. It is a sign that you are finally listening. Healing often feels like chaos before it becomes peace, because the old version of you is losing control, the version that needed approval, the version that overexplained, the version that chased, the version that tolerated disrespect, the version that confused attention with love, the version that was afraid to disappoint people, even if pleasing them meant disappointing yourself. That version will not disappear easily. It will try to pull you back. It will say, text them again. It will say, maybe you were too harsh. It will say, what if they forget you? It will say, what if you end up alone? But your higher self must answer, what if being alone is exactly how I find myself? You must understand this. Not everyone deserves access to you. Your time is not common. Your energy is not unlimited. Your heart is not a public place where anyone can enter, damage things, and leave without consequence. When you focus on yourself, you begin to protect what is sacred. You become more selective with your conversations, your environment, your habits, your relationships, and your attention. You stop explaining your dreams to people who have no vision. You stop sharing your wounds with people who use vulnerability as entertainment. You stop asking advice from people living lives you do not want. You stop chasing people whose absence brings more peace than their presence. This is not pride. This is wisdom. Carl Jung once suggested that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Whether or not people fully understand that sentence, its meaning is powerful. If you do not bring awareness to your hidden patterns, you will keep repeating them and wondering why life feels the same. You may think the problem is always other people. And sometimes, yes, people can be toxic, manipulative, jealous, or cruel. But the deeper question is, why did you stay so long? Why did you ignore the signs? Why did you need their approval? Why did their opinion feel more powerful than your own intuition? This is not about blaming yourself. It is about reclaiming responsibility. Blame keeps you stuck. Responsibility gives you power. When you blame everyone else, you wait for them to change. But when you take responsibility for your patterns, you can change your life even if they never change at all. This is where your focus must go. Not to who hurt you, not to who doubted you, not to who left, not to who is watching, not to who is ahead, but to who you are becoming. Every day, ask yourself, what kind of person am I building? Am I becoming more disciplined or more distracted, more honest or more performative, more peaceful or more reactive, more courageous or more dependent on approval, more aligned with my values or more addicted to being liked? These questions will change you if you answer them truthfully, because focusing on yourself is not a mood, it is a discipline. It is choosing not to check on people who disturb your peace. It is choosing not to argue with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. It is choosing to work when your emotions want distraction. It is choosing to rest when your body is exhausted. It is choosing to face your shadow instead of projecting it onto others. It is choosing to stop living as a reaction to people who do not even know themselves. There will be moments when you feel invisible. Good. Use them. Being unseen is not always a curse. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes it is the space you need to build without interference. Sometimes it is life removing the audience so you can finally stop performing. Do not fear the seasons when nobody notices you. Seeds grow in darkness. Foundations are built underground. The strongest transformations often happen quietly, before the world has any proof. You do not need everyone to see your process. You do not need to post every move. You do not need to announce every decision. You do not need to convince people you are changing. Just change. Let your discipline speak later. Let your peace become evidence. Let your boundaries reveal your growth. Let your silence protect what your words used to waste. And when people return after you have changed, observe carefully. Some people miss you. Others miss the version of you they could control. Some people love you. Others love what you provided. Some people support your growth. Others only support the parts of you that do not threaten their comfort. This is why self-focus creates clarity. When you stop chasing, you see who chooses you. When you stop explaining, you see who understands. When you stop overgiving, you see who is only there to receive. When you stop shrinking, you see who is offended by your expansion. And yes, this clarity may hurt, but it is better to be hurt by the truth than comforted by an illusion. You cannot build a powerful life while surrounded by people who benefit from your weakness. You cannot become your true self while remaining loyal to environments that require you to be small. You cannot heal while constantly returning to what wounded you. At some point, you must choose yourself so deeply that your old life can no longer recognize you. This does not happen overnight. It happens in small decisions. The message you do not send, the argument you do not enter, the boundary you do not apologize for, the habit you keep even when nobody sees it, the dream you protect from careless opinions, the silence you choose instead of proving your worth, the morning you get up and continue, even when your mind is heavy. These are the moments that rebuild you, not dramatic announcements, not motivational quotes, not temporary excitement, quiet repetition, private discipline, honest reflection, emotional control. This is how you become someone you can trust. And once you trust yourself, the world loses much of its power over you. You no longer need constant reassurance because your actions prove your direction. You no longer panic when people leave because you know your foundation is not built on their presence. You no longer chase respect because you embody self-respect. You no longer fear silence because silence has become a place of strength. This is what Jung's wisdom points toward. Wholeness, not perfection. Wholeness. To become whole means you stop rejecting the parts of yourself that need attention. You stop pretending you are always strong. You stop hiding your fear behind pride. You stop calling your avoidance peace. You stop calling your people-pleasing kindness. You stop calling your self-abandonment love. You begin telling the truth to yourself first. And when you tell yourself the truth, your life begins to reorganize. Some relationships no longer fit. Some habits become unbearable. Some conversations feel empty. Some goals no longer belong to you. Some versions of success lose their shine. This can feel like loss, but it is actually return. You are returning to what is real. You are returning to your own center. You are returning to the person you were before fear taught you to perform. So if you are in a season where you feel called to disappear, to be quiet, to focus, to rebuild, do not explain it to everyone. Protect it. There are seasons of your life that require privacy, not because you are hiding, but because you are healing, not because you are weak, but because you are becoming strong in ways that noise cannot support, not because you hate people, but because you finally understand that access to your energy must be earned. Ignore everyone does not mean hate everyone. It means stop worshiping everyone's opinion. It means stop giving strangers critics, exes jealous friends, and confused people the authority to define your life. It means stop using the crowd as a compass. Because the crowd does not know your calling. The crowd does not know what you survived. The crowd does not know what keeps you awake at night. The crowd does not know the person you are trying to become. So, why would you let the crowd lead you? There is a voice inside you that has been waiting for your attention. It is quieter than fear, quieter than criticism, quieter than the internet, quieter than the people who think they know you, but it is there. And the more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. That voice will not always tell you what is easy. It may tell you to leave. It may tell you to start again. It may tell you to stop pretending. It may tell you to work harder. It may tell you to forgive yourself. It may tell you to finally become the person you keep imagining in silence. Listen, your life changes when your inner voice becomes louder than the world's noise. So from today, pull your energy back. Stop watching people who make you feel behind. Stop explaining yourself to people who enjoy misunderstanding you. Stop chasing people whose attention costs you your dignity. Stop asking for permission to become who you are. Focus on your mind. Focus on your body. Focus on your discipline. Focus on your peace. Focus on your purpose. Focus on the parts of you that still need healing. Focus on the future that requires a different version of you. And when the world becomes loud again, remember this. You are not here to be understood by everyone. You are here to become whole. You are here to become conscious. You are here to build a life that reflects your truth, not your fear. Let people talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. Let them leave. Let them watch from a distance if they must. Your task is not control their perception. Your task is to master your attention. Because the moment you stop giving your power away, the moment you stop living through other people's eyes, the moment you stop abandoning yourself for approval, everything begins to change. You become calmer. You become sharper. You become harder to manipulate. You become more selective. You become more honest. You become more dangerous to the old patterns that once controlled you. And eventually, you become someone your former self would have prayed to become. That is a reward of focusing on yourself. Not applause. Not revenge. Not proving people wrong. The real reward is peace. The real reward is self-respect. The real reward is waking up and knowing that you no longer belong to the noise. You belong to yourself. And once a person truly belongs to themselves, they cannot be easily broken by the world. So ignore the noise. Focus on yourself. Become whole. And let your life become the proof